the Benchwarmers podcast. I am Casey Coggins, and I am not joined by Alvin Hebert and Andrew Lira right now. We decided that we were going to do something different. Really, this stems from not being able to record one Thursday, and then stuff happened on Sunday, so we couldn't get a podcast done that week. So I told them, hey, find some time when you're at home. Record, a little bit, 10, 15 minutes maybe, about just whatever's on your mind. If there's something that's bugging you with sports, really anything, the world, music, movies, coronavirus, record on that. Because, our main focus every episode is to talk sports and the sports world, but we're not just sports people. We do know more about, we do follow, I guess I should say, music and movies and culture and politics and, being well-rounded people. We are still a sports podcast, but I just wanted to open up our forum to get our voices out and use our podcast to do that. For me, leading off, going first before we get into Alvin and Andrew's topics, I'm going to talk about a sport that we don't talk about really ever. The only time we ever talked about it was when we were doing On Fire and Dire Prophecies, and I would use some sort of fire, dire, or prophecy to talk tennis or golf or a random sport like soccer that we don't talk about much. But I'm going to talk tennis. I've played tennis since I was 11. I still really enjoy playing, even though I don't get out onto the court as much. And I try to follow every tournament. Well, at least every major, and then tournaments throughout the year. I probably actually watch more golf than tennis nowadays. But I feel like one of the reasons why that is that golf has a lot more competitors, in the sense that every tournament, every major, it seems like it's anybody's game. Somebody who is ranked 60 in the world could have a good 4 rounds and end up winning. You can see people like Jim Furyk, who's, playing senior tournaments now. He could come in and play a PGA tournament and be a competitor and be a leader. You can see Tiger Woods coming back. You can see the young guys come up. I'm spacing on the guy who just won a tournament. But that's besides the point. The point is, with tennis, it seems like the new generation, the younger generation of players, for whatever reason, they haven't figured out how to beat the old guys. And I don't know if that's because the old guys are still, their primes have been elongated because of all of the medical technology and the ease of travel and how they've changed courts and a lot of the details that go into being a professional tennis player now. But you're looking at Novak Djokovic, who just won his 8th Australian Open. Rafael Nadal, who has only since becoming a pro has lost the French Open twice. In 1 year, he missed it because of injury. So his record is insane at the French Open. Not to mention him winning other tournaments, majors as well. Roger Federer, all-time major tournament winner. He's always in the mix. And you look at the rankings after the Australian Open, Dominic Thiem, who was in that finals, who ended up beating Nadal in the semis, lost to Djokovic, but he took over the 3rd ranking in the world, taking over Federer. But these 3 guys, ages 32, 33, and 38 at the moment, are 3 of the top 4 players in the world. And then you look down and like 11 and 12 is Fabio Fognini and Roberto Bautista Agut. And those are other 30-year-olds. But other than that, like, you have Team, who's 26. He's kind of one of the, you know what? I oversight, my bad. Gael Monfils, ranked 9th in the world right now, is 33. But you have Berrettini, 23. Zverev, 22. Tsitsipas, 21. Medvedev, 24. Team, 26. None of these guys, I mean, you've seen it every now and then, and like, you'll see it at Indian Wells or the ATP Masters or some of the other smaller tournaments around the world where they can beat these guys. But when it comes to the majors, you're not seeing anybody being able to compete. You're seeing the same 3 guys in the semis and the finals every major. And I'm curious when that passing of the torch is going to happen, because it doesn't seem like it seems like the only way it's going to happen is because the old guys get hurt. You see it with Federer, you saw it with Djokovic, you see it with Nadal. Like, the only time they really ever lose to these younger guys is when they're dealing with ailments and injuries and they have to withdraw and they just don't look the same. But as when they're 100% healthy, you look at right now, Djokovic just won the Dubai title, which is his 5th there. And he beat Tsitsipas, who I brought up as the 21-year-old who's number 6 in the world, 6'3", 6'4", and didn't really seem to have much competition. And for people who don't follow tennis as much, 6'3", 6'4" may seem like it's close, but there are some like score-wise close matches that really weren't ever close, where Djokovic would hold every service game at love, and he's the games he's losing, they're going to deuce, and he's really competing in every break game. So you have not just these younger guys who haven't been able to overcome the veterans, but you don't have any Americans as well. You have John Isner, who's been hit and miss. It looked like he was finally figuring things out, but in the end, he's just a 6'10" guy who had a big serve and was able to advance deep into majors because of that serve. But his court movement, his ground stroke game, just wasn't to the same level as Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer. Taylor Fritz is the newest young and upcoming American, who is 24 in the world at 22 years old, and he's definitely put on a show in a few majors, but I don't have a lot of faith that he's going to be able to overcome some of these other international guys. Like I said, he's at 24, but a lot of the other younger guys above him, like, is he going to be better than Andrei Rublev or why can't I think of or Denis Shapovalov? Sorry for some of the butchering of the names. Some of these names I haven't said in a long time, so got to kick off the rust. The state of tennis is similar to golf, as I mentioned. But if tennis is going to get to that next level, like I feel golf has, they need a little more parity when it comes to majors. They need the more parity when it comes to they need more parity when it comes to tournaments throughout the year, because you have talent. There are a lot of guys who are young and explosive. You know, the probably the biggest name who's not around the top right now He's ranked 39 in the world as Nick Kyrgios. He's a name that people know because of his antics, because of, he comes out in different players' jerseys and he breaks his racket and very John McEnroe-esque. And he's young and he has every single shot you can make in tennis. He has a good forehand. He has a good backhand. He can slice with you. He can come up and volley. He has a good serve. He has the mobility around the court where he can chase down. He can play defense. He can play offense. All around game is as good as anybody. In kind of in the similar way that I'm bringing this all up is it. There's something that there's like a wall that they need to break through. And until somebody starts breaking through that wall regularly, I see Djokovic and Nadal and Federer, when healthy, sweeping the majors for the foreseeable future. And I think that's where we're at with the state of tennis. I would love to see Taylor Fritz be able to make a run in one of these majors, or a guy like Tennis Sandgren, who has an interesting game and look. I mean, if it's Sam Querrey and John Isner, two of the American veterans on the tour, like at the U.S. Open, that'd be awesome. But the French Open's coming up in a couple months, and if Nadal's healthy, Nadal's winning. Then Wimbledon's after that, where you can get a little more parity. But I mean, odds are it's going to be Djokovic or Federer winning that. And so the U.S. Open is really going to hopefully be a tournament where an American can have a good showing, or one of these younger guys, like the Berrettinis, like the Rublevs, even like Dimitrov, who's 28, who's closer to those guys' ages. I want to see that. There's a few guys who are still young, or not still young, but there are young guys on the tour who I'd like to see, win a major. And if it's their only major, then so be it. But I think if one of these younger guys are able to break through and win a major, it might help break everybody through. And that would, I think, I've said it multiple times already, create parity and elevate the level of tennis that's going on right now. So that's my Franken-Pod section, talking tennis. It felt good to actually look into tennis and talk about it. I don't do it enough, so maybe I'll keep up with it when we do our Franken-Pods. And next up we have Alvin, who is going to discuss some baseball. And thank you all, and keep listening to Alvin and Andrew.
Yo, what up? This Alvin with the Benchwarmers podcast. Right now we doing things a little bit different. We all each recording our own little segments right now, since we all couldn't have the time to meet up and record on Thursday or Sunday. So we're all recording little segments here, and I'm going to take this little opportunity to do it like a smoke session while I'm doing the smoke session. And the topic I'm going to talk on is something that people have been feeling some type of way about lately. And it's going to be the Astros and the cheating scandal that they had here from winning the World Series back in 2017. Me, personally, I don't condone cheating. I do think cheating is wrong. I don't think people should be cheating. But when it comes to baseball, I feel like this is on a different scope. Like, you got to look at it at a different lens, because cheating's been around baseball ever since baseball started. And the fact that people are going out of their minds because the Astros got caught cheating, when multiple teams, let alone individual players, have been caught cheating throughout the history of baseball. So to me, I'm not like all up in arms like, oh my God, I can't believe the Astros did this. But also, I'm not like the WWE and that's going to promote cheating like they did with Eddie Guerrero with the whole slang of I lie, I cheat, I steal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not all about that. But again, I'm looking at it at a different perspective than most people. I feel like the Dodgers and especially the Yankees need to like stop their crying and boo-hooing and shit and like gotta like face some facts here. You know, like when they came out with the whole cheating scandal, you know, they were stealing signs, using technology to steal signs. And, you know, when I talk to people, especially my cousins back in California who are diehard Dodger fans, right? Everything about LA, all the LA teams. At a certain point, they're cool about the cheating, but they're not cool about the way they did the cheating with the technology use. And I'm just like, how you going to be like, yeah, you know, it's been around in baseball, but you shouldn't use technology. And I'm like, well, really, it's the 21st century. They're going to adapt to their ways. You know what I'm saying? It's not just going to be basic old school slapping sticks and like trash cans all the time. I'm like, I'm pretty sure if a team could use technology, aka the Patriots, I'm sure they'll find a way to do it. I'm sure players are still cheating in baseball. I'm sure there's teams that are cheating in baseball that they just haven't got caught. Like it's the whole NCAA football stuff where all these schools were getting caught for paying players to come to their school and all that stuff. But you still have like Bama and like all those top schools that were like untouchable for a minute. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're paying people to play for them too, to steal them away from, you know, like Georgia or LSU or Florida. You know what I'm saying? Like to say that wasn't happening in Bama because it's Bama, like to me that's kind of like looking at it kind of blindly. So when we go into this, the whole thing was that they were cheating at home, right? The Dodgers World Series game with the Astros, that went to all 7 games. And the Astros beat them in LA like through the whole series. That's why they ended up winning it 4-3. And if you want to like talk about like, oh, you know, they got cheated and boo-hoo and all that stuff. But when you look at their numbers, the Dodgers numbers, the ones that I'm talking about, like how do you defend that? How do you defend these numbers from like Cody Bellinger, who was hitting 143 with 17 strikeouts, Cody Seager 222 with 9 strikeouts, Justin Turner 160 with 0 RBIs, and that was through games 2 through 7, and then Yasiel Puig, who was 148 with 5 strikeouts. And you want to be like, oh, well, like those players and are not, you know, besides like Cody Bellinger or Seager, you probably say like, oh, they're not like they're star players and all that stuff. But back in that roster in 2017, those were their star players. Again, Dodgers 104, 58 losses. They were first in the NL West. You know what I'm saying? They ran through the playoffs where they swept the Diamondbacks. They 4-1 the Chicago Cubs. And then, you know, they meet the Houston Astros and lose 4-3. Like, if you go and look at their numbers, like Cody Bellinger that year, who was batting like 267, 97 RBIs, and then I think like 39, 40 home runs. And then you go to the playoffs in the World Series and you hit some lousy ass number like that. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, you was cool about it at first. You was like, oh, I got to work on my game. That's what you think at first, but then, the cheating scandal comes out and you're like, oh, you stole that from me. Like, stole what from you? You obviously were not playing to your standards from the regular season at the World Series, bro. And you can't defend that. You can't defend those numbers. And I don't see how, but again, I'm not condoning cheating. I'll repeat that. Not condone cheating. I do think it's wrong because, I gave my cousins, they'll throw me feedback like, oh, what if it was your team? What if it was the Cowboys that got cheated on and all that stuff for a Super Bowl, or my Seattle Mariners got cheated at a World Series? I'm like, yeah, I'll be fucking disappointed. But if my team played that horrible to the point where, they can't beat the cheaters, then I'm like, on top of that, it got to fall on the players too. You got to be out there and hit the ball. They got to be out there to hit the ball, even if they're stealing the signs. Everything with baseball is about timing, right? A pitch coming at you 90 something miles per hour. You think a normal person is going to catch up to something like that? But these are baseball players. They still got to go out there and hit the ball, even if they're cheating, even if they're doing all that. Because you've seen the Patriots get caught cheating, and most of the time, they're not winning. The times that they do win, the whole Deflategate, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they won, but you don't see them crying oh, the World Series, that the Super Bowl should have gone to that team, or they cheated us out, all of this and all of that kind of noise. But in baseball, so fucking sensitive, can't believe this shit. And what I'm getting at is that, yes, the Astros got caught cheating, but if you look at it from the other side, where the players did not perform at all, they didn't perform either in the World Series. On top of the whole cheating stuff, to me, the players should take a little bit of ownership too for playing poorly at that. And even the Yankees, these silly motherfuckers that just come out of nowhere and start crying and all that stuff, they didn't have a dope ass series with the Astros either when they was out there playing for to get to the World Series. Their hitters were hitting trash numbers too, and I'm like, why are y'all fucking crying? Why are the Yankees crying about this? I know you get asked these questions and all that stuff by reporters, but again, they gotta own up to their stuff, to their poor play also, because again, the whole situation was that the Astros were cheating only when they were at home, not on the way. So what are you doing when you're in Yankee Stadium? What are you doing when you're in New York and you're not performing to the standards that you was performing during the regular season? Whose fault is that? Are you going to just constantly blame the Astros for that because they got caught? And you're like, oh, there's our scapegoat. You cheated us out. You cheated this person out of the MVP. Whoop-de-whoop, blah, blah, blah. Wah, wah, wah. And if you were performing and got caught cheating, then I'll be on your side, right? Because you actually were performing at the level that you was performing during the regular season. You was actually showing that you could hit the ball. You was bringing in runs, but there was some type of force stopping you from succeeding. But that wasn't the case. The case was, yeah, they were cheating, but also you guys were trash. So I don't want to take up too much time. You could look up the numbers, bro. They're all there. I'm not, again, condoning the Astros for cheating. I know it's bad. I know it's not good for the league, even though cheating's been in baseball. I even got homeboys saying batters should use steroids because the chicks dig the long ball. But when it comes to stealing signs with technology, nah, that's where we draw the line, bruh. Nah. So I'm just it is what it is. They got their punishment. All of those managers and GMs getting fired and all that stuff. And people was like, oh, but what about the players? Like, what about them? They're going to get beamed by every pitcher in every stadium this year. And like, do they deserve it? Yeah, maybe. They might deserve that. Yeah. But they already know that shit's coming. They already know. In every stadium, they're going to get it. So, to me, again, cheating is bad. Okay? Cheating is bad. But Dodgers, you are trash. Yankees, you're trash. Stop the crying. Go out and play some baseball and actually win something. Y'all got these, like, deadly-ass lineups, and y'all ain't winning nothing. So, until y'all shut up and put up, then we could have another discussion. But right now, y'all crying way too much. And then, I think that's all I got. I don't think I got anything else. Yeah. So, that's my little sesh for the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Astros situation. Speaking what I feel on that, again, we're not the WWE. We ain't talking about I lie, I cheat, I steal. But you got to own up as a player to your own performance and realize y'all was playing horrible too, on top of the cheating. So it was like double whammy, bro. So again, this your boy Alvin with the Bench Warmers podcast. My little smoke sesh for y'all. Check y'all on the next one.
So that was Alvin talking about the Astros cheating scandal. Plenty more to talk about with that. So when the baseball season gets closer, we'll probably do another deep dive and give a baseball preview. And now we're moving on to Andrew's section of the Franken-Pod, where he is going to talk some fighting and a little coronavirus and how hard it is to actually sit down and talk about something by yourself, to yourself, with nobody else around.
So, we're supposed to be recording this for, I don't know, a Franken-Pod? I don't know. Supposed to get 10 to 15 minutes, and my original plan was to, I was like, yeah, let me get home. Kids will be playing, jumping around, shit. And I was like, yeah, I'll just record, I'll do that. Immediately regretted it. Walked in the door, one kid screaming, crying, the other kid screaming, laughing. I mean, it's not a big deal, but I can only juggle with two hands. It would have been crazy. On top of that, baked some dessert. It was pretty nice. Some cheesecake brownies. But yeah, so we're supposed to be recording. Everyone's doing their own thing. Katie said it doesn't have to be sports related, but I'm just thinking to myself, what else is there to record? What else is there going on? Fucking coronavirus. Fuck out of here. I think people are just scared for nothing. The mortality rate is like fucking, 1%? 1% out of every 100 people are going to get killed by this? I ain't scared. It's fine. Scarier shit's happened. But people are really like in a mass hysteria about it. They fucking closed the ball about this shit just to clean it. Fucking rub some goddamn 409 on the tables and on the handrails. Fuck out of here. If it happens, let it happen. No point in containing it. Just let it fucking do it. Run its course. I think it was Travis Parker that said it best. Was nature finds a way. And I mean, fuck it, man. It's gonna happen. Let it happen. I mean, I don't want to catch it. Got me fucked up. You think I'm gonna be the 1% that fucking dies? Shit. Nah, that ain't me. Well, yeah, it's just crazy. Mass hysteria going on. I don't know what else is going on in the world. Fucking, it's election year. People talking politics. People not wanting to talk politics. People that don't want to talk politics get called racist because they think everyone else thinks their politics are bad. Yeah, whatever. Let you believe in who you believe in. Trust who you want to trust. I don't care, man. I ain't here to judge. But yeah, man, what else is going on in the world? What else is going on? Shit. I thought that recording 10 to 15 minutes would be a lot easier than it actually is. I mean, you have to come up with talking points and subjects and play off of it without giving away too much before you actually go into detail about it all. It was just, it was a pipe dream to think that I could just come up with it off the top of my head without anybody else to play off of me. I mean, not saying that I couldn't do it, but I mean, it's always fun with somebody else, right? It's like time in bed. I mean, yeah, you can knock it out by yourself, right? Ain't nobody got nothing on this kung fu grip, but I mean, it's always fun to have a player too with you. But yeah, so you had to come up with plans for stuff we needed to talk about. One of the first things that I thought of was the fact that we never talked about how Tyson Fury, 110%, just outclassed Deontay Wilder in that boxing ring for those 7 rounds. That was just the wildest thing to see. Deontay Wilder, who has the hardest punch recorded, some shit like that. I mean, this guy's got 42 wins, 41 by knockout. He'd never lost before. The only time he didn't win was with a draw against Tyson Fury the first time. And he got completely outboxed. Those 7 rounds, Tyson Fury put on a clinic, just ran him up, got in his face, pressured him, hit him with that 1-2 over and over and over again. I want to say he got the first knockdown in what? It was the first or third round. But after that first knockdown, Deontay Wilder looked like he just checked out. There was talks about his eardrums being ruptured and that would throw off his equilibrium. There was talks of he came up with the idea that his suit was too heavy, it weighed 40 pounds, but I don't get it. 40 pounds on, he came in at 270? Something along those lines. I mean, these guys are fucking heavyweights. You can't put a 40-pound suit as an excuse for losing and just getting boxed. I watched the fight. I stopped that fight the round before. I stopped it in the 6th. Deontay Wilder wasn't there. He was looking for that one knockout punch. He couldn't find it. Tyson Fury was doing good about collecting it and just defense at the same time as he's pressuring him and just punching him. I have nothing else to say. I mean, there's nothing else that can describe what was going on. He straight pressured him and just boxed him. It was fun to watch. It was nice to see. The people that I was with didn't really know much about either fighter. They saw one man was muscle bound, and of course, talking about Deontay Wilder. The second guy, they saw him as fat, slow, and just goofy. I mean, little did they know that Tyson Fury is one of my favorite fighters, one of my favorite boxers. He's just a fun guy. His background with his fights against mental illness and his depression and his suicide attempts, and the fact that he weighed over 350 before he came back to defend his title. It said a lot, and it really resonated within me, and I loved it, and I still love that about him, because we all have that little bit of darkness inside of us, and it takes someone strong to really talk about it. And not only did he talk about it, he embraced it, and he fought with it, and he's beating it the same way he beat Deontay Wilder. It was great. So I was cheering, not only out, but inside, because it was kind of annoying when you're around those people. So I was like, oh, I don't like him. He's fat. He doesn't know how to fight. How can he be boxing? How is he undefeated? He must not fight anybody good. It's just like, bro, this man is 6'9", and the way that he moves in the ring, if you're 6'9", you don't move like that in the ring. He's something else. I mean, he's a man that finally dethroned Klitschko, and I don't know, people just seem to forget about that. So the boxer outboxed the knockout artist. It's good to see. And brings me to my second subject, which is also along the lines of fighting, but in a different kind of venue, which is the Octagon, which is this next fight, UFC 248, is Israel the Stylebender Adesanya versus Yoel Romero. I mean, Yoel Romero, people are scared of him. They're legit scared. He's a hard hitter, and he's very durable. I was kind of confused at the fact that they gave him the title shot, because I want to say Romero's lost 2 in a row, and it just seems like a weird time to give him a title fight. It's just not right. You want to give someone else on a winning streak. But at the same time, I want to say this is a middleweight fight, and it just feels like they're building this up the same way that they built up Conor and Cowboy. I want to say the UFC wants people to bet on Romero the same way that they were building up Cowboy so that people could bet on him. Conor is a better striker. He's very accurate with his punches. And everybody knew. I mean, everybody who knew that Conor was going to walk away with that. I mean, he was coming off, I believe this is his first fight since the Khabib fight, or did he have one in between? I don't remember. But either way, this is still Conor. Just because he got choked out by Khabib doesn't mean he's not a fighter anymore. And, I mean, this is also Cowboy, who's lost a couple big fights already. He doesn't stand up to the pressure. And, I mean, I love the guy. He is my favorite fighter. He's my favorite UFC fighter, hands down, aside from John Jones. But Cowboy, you just gotta love him, man. They built him up, and it hurt me to see him go down like that. But that comparison it makes sense, because Adesanya, Izzy, Stylebender, whatever you want to call him, he's that much better of a fighter than Yoel Romero. Yoel Romero can hit hard, of course, but Stylebender, he's an overall fighter. Granted, Stylebender has been knocked out before. I don't think it was UFC. I think it was like Pride Kickboxing, where he was getting knocked out. John Jones likes to bring it up on Twitter whenever they have their beef. But yeah, I don't think Romero really stands a chance. I don't think he stands a chance. I mean, he has that puncher's chance that he could connect. If he does connect, he'll put his lights out 100%. I have no doubt about that. But he has to get in there, and he has to land it. I want to say Stylebender is a lot bigger than Romero. Romero isn't that big. I look it up right now. Yoel Romero is 6 foot even. And Izzy Stylebender is 6'4", so that's 4 inches on him. If Romero likes to come in very muscle bound. And I mean, I don't like to see fighters come in very muscle bound. I don't like to see it. You need some fat on you just to help you move better. But Romero works with it. I mean, there's no question about that. He again works with it. So yeah, that's going to be a good fight to watch. It'll be fun. I don't know about a good fight. I could see it ending second, third round. I could see Adesanya tiring Romero out and then landing those hits on him, and then possibly I could see him submitting him. I'll say that. I'll say Stylebender submits Romero in the third round. Put that on tape. Come at me if you have any questions. Don't come at me. I don't want to hear about you. You want to hear it if you want. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just ranting now. I'm telling you, I'm trying to burn time. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. These are my main things right now. I mean, you want to come talk? We could talk. I work better off people anyways. It's like a counterpunch, dog. Come on. Anyways, Yeah, well, this is gonna wrap my segment up. If you want to reach me, you can find me at Twitter at Drew and the Clowns. Same goes for Instagram. You have any questions, let me know. Tag me, at me. Don't forget, rate, review, like, subscribe. Let us know how we're doing. Peace.
So there you have it. The first Benchwarmers podcast, Franken-Pod, where we all isolated ourselves and rambled on about a topic we wanted to. These will be coming more often. We're going to try to hopefully do one a week so that we can have a Franken-Pod and a regular podcast episode each week for a total of 2 podcasts on top of the Casey's Corner 3 that I do when I'm driving home from work. So keep your eye out for all of the content that is coming your way. This has been Casey Coggins, and I'm signing off for myself, Alvin Hebert, and Andrew Lira. As Andrew alluded to, like, subscribe, hit us up on Facebook, all of that stuff, and we'll see you next Thursday.